Hello, everybody. We are so excited to have you in our first ever Grow Fellowship. We've done Grow and we've met for 5 days, but this year is a special year for so many reasons. And we are excited to build with you and experience all the ups and downs of the second half of 2020. Thinking about all sorts of things, justice related, um, as Unitarian Universalists. In this video, we're going to be giving you some clues and some substance for what this Grow Fellowship is actually going to entail. What's the content of it? What are we actually going to be doing? So we'll go over that in a broad overview and then talk specifically about this first month. So in the course of the next 4 months, each month will have a theme. And in that month, we will spend 4 weeks thinking about different aspects of that theme, trying it on, seeing what's going to help us get more free and also what's not helpful. So the first month, we are looking at governance and power. And of course, you're thinking, Sarah, that's so obvious, like it's an election year. But this month is actually geared towards us understanding all of the options available to us to govern ourselves towards liberation. One of the people that I look forward to, up to, told me once that if we're not prepared to govern, we're not prepared to win. And so these are really critical skills if we hope to live in a world where people are extremely more free than we are now. And power, obviously, you can't talk about governance without talking about power. So we're going to talk about how power moves and shakes and shifts so that we can make informed decisions about how we want to respond and not even respond, but act proactively and owning our power. So how that's going to look in the month is that at the beginning of the week, we will have a email sent out to you with some questions and some ideas and an example of how those things might move and manifest in the world. And the idea is that you don't have to respond to that. There's no homework. Maybe there might be like some ponderings, but really it's just a couple of thoughts to help ruminate throughout your week, to see how they show up in yourself, in your community, in your job, in your family, to just kind of live there and bubble and percolate. And then somewhere in the middle of the week, we're going to do a justice workout. This is like a 30 to 45 minute sprint that tries on some of the things that we talked about in the email, likely on Monday. And so this will be something to just get our muscles moving and just see how it like feels in our bodies. And then we'll check in towards the end of the week about like, how did these things move? Any revelations, any new thoughts, any learnings? So that will be the flow of each of the 4 weeks. And then the other touch point that we'll have will be the Thrive and Shift cohorts. We've done this in other iterations of Grow, but basically they're racial caucuses. So we'll have a people of color caucus, which we've called Thrive, and then a white folks caucus called Shift. And we will take that time to just do some smaller group stuff that delves into that theme a little bit more. So I'm going to hand it off to Alex to talk about week 1.
In week 1, we're going to be talking about sociocracy, which distinguishes itself from our current governmental system by using a model of consent rather than majority voting. And through this, we're going to be discussing the idea of how do we recognize and how do we build power, both for ourselves and for our communities. This conversation is going to be followed by our first justice workout, where we'll be mapping our power and our spheres of influence, as well as building an asset map for the communities that we live in so that we can figure out Where does power live around us, and how does it take shape and form?
In week 2, we are talking about how we facilitate meetings, how we be together. In addition, how is power constructed and shared and hoarded in meetings? You may have heard of Robert's Rules of Order, but there are so many other options, including Martha's Rules of Order. And then for our justice workout of that week, we are going to talk about grow rules of order. How do we want to be together? How do we want to be mindful of how power is maneuvered in our time together?
And in our third week, we're going to be talking about values and the theory of change, as well as doing some storytelling around times that we've seen a lack of values and conversations around them stop an organization hard in its tracks. And following up in our action circle, we'll all be doing storytelling about changes that we've experienced or witnessed. And we're going to talk some about our own politicization and what were the moments that have brought us to organizing.
In our last week of the month, we're talking about resources, being resourceful, being resourcefulness, and the example of participatory budgeting, which you may have come across in the defund and abolish the police conversations of this year and so many years past. And then in our justice workout, we are going to try on role-playing a participatory budgeting community meeting. So negotiating what are the things that are important to resource in our communities.
And then sometime in the month, don't know if it'll be at the end or the middle, it kind of depends on our scheduling, we're going to be gathering for our Shift and Thrive cohort groups. And when we do, we'll be doing a deep dive into Bernice Johnson Reagan's Coalition Politics, Turning of the Century, which we'll be providing all attendants with a digital copy of. We are so excited to spend the season with you, deepening our analysis, our praxis, and our community towards a just and equitable world.